Betrayal is the chisel that carves monuments out of mediocrity. It is the crucible where weak alliances and fragile loyalties are shattered, revealing the unyielding core of strength beneath. Those who are deceived believe themselves the victims, clutching to the ashes of broken promises. But in the wake of the splintered bond, greatness emerges, unfettered, unburdened by the weight of lesser wills. For in betrayal the veil is lifted, and what is left is raw ambition, sharpened to a blade. Disappointment is a teacher far crueler than defeat. Those who betray are often condemned, cast aside as villains. But it is betrayal that forces evolution. Betrayal that drives the unrelenting hunger to transcend limits. Loyalty breeds complacency, stagnation disguised as honor. A blade kept within its sheath too long loses its edge, dulling until it becomes a mere relic. It is in the thrust of the knife, the severing of bonds, that purpose is reforged. Purpose that does not bow to companionship but cuts through it. The broken chain is not a weakness but a catalyst. To be betrayed is to be given clarity, to see through the smoke and mirror of falsehoods. It is the cruelest of gifts, unwrapped with bloodstained hands, tearing away illusion and leaving only the harsh light of purpose. In that agony a new strength is born. Some are shattered by betrayal, left to crumble in despair. Others are refined by it, transformed by the very force that sought to destroy them. From the ashes of severed ties a fire rises. There is no greater teacher than pain. It sears, it scorches, it drives you to the precipice of despair. Yet, in the fires of betrayal, greatness takes shape. Only when cast into the pit of abandonment do you discover what remains unbroken. The world believes that betrayal is a downfall, a fall from grace. But grace is a gilded cage. The chains of trust are bonds meant to keep power leashed, restrained. To be free is to bear no chains, to kneel to no master. And so when betrayal comes, it is not the end. It is the beginning. The betrayed is given a choice: succumb to the ruin, or embrace the pain and rise anew, stronger than before. Greatness is not born in trust, but in betrayal. Those who survive it are no longer beholden to the whims of others. They are the consequence that stalks the shadows, the whisper of vengeance that silences even the loudest cries for mercy. The betrayed become the unstoppable force, driven by the knowledge that nothing else can wound them so deeply again. So let betrayal do its worst. Let it strip away the illusions of loyalty. Let it tear through bonds of friendship and love. For in that destruction, in that agony, greatness waits, like a blade tempered in flame. Those who rise from betrayal are no longer mere men. They are titans, walking monuments to resilience, shaped not by loyalty, but by the agony of its severance. Betrayal is not the end of the road. It is a fracture that opens the path to transformation. After betrayal, what remains of the self is merely a ruin, a hollowed husk whispering of what once was. To cling to that shattered identity is to embrace weakness, to wallow in the remnants of a life no longer worth possessing. Instead, the betrayed must become something new, something unrecognizable, formless in the eyes of those who thought they understood. To survive is not enough. Survival is the refuge of prey. Reinvention is the weapon of the predator. Shatter the old self and sculpt anew without pity, without sentiment. Embrace the void left by trust and fill it with something far more potent: resolve. The self that was betrayed was not enough. The self that is born from betrayal must be boundless, a creature that no longer bleeds from the same wounds. Shed the old skin and take a new shape, a new face. For there is power in unpredictability. Become not what was betrayed, but something unchained by the past, untethered from the expectations of those who cast you aside. Those who remain stagnant are consumed. They remain as prey, endlessly hunted by their own failures, haunted by their scars. But to rise, after the knife has fallen, is to transcend, to become a harbinger of one's own design. Reinvention is not a luxury but a necessity, a ritual of rebirth that must be embraced time and again. Do not mourn what was lost. What you were was merely a vessel, shattered to make way for what you will become. In every betrayal there is an opportunity to grow beyond the chains of identity, to evolve into something far more dangerous. To redefine oneself is to master the art of the void, to become untouchable, shifting and mutable. For the world fears not what it understands, but what it cannot grasp, what it cannot contain. Those who betray you will look for the wounds they think they know, the weakness they remember, but find only a shadow that slips through their grasp. Betrayal is not the dagger in the night. It is the hand that once offered solace, now twisting the blade. It comes not from the shadows, but from the places where trust was thought absolute. A foe's malice is expected, anticipated, an open flame burning from a distance. But betrayal is the smoldering ember in your breast, planted by those who shared your fire. It burns not from without, but within, turning loyalty into poison, faith into folly. Enemies are honest in their hate, unhidden, unashamed. But the smile of a friend conceals the sharpest teeth. Those who dare betray are not distant adversaries. They are the ones who know the shape of your soul, the weight of your dreams. Enemies strike at your body, but friends strike at the heart. And when the moment comes, when the mask slips, it is not steel that pierces your chest, but the jagged shards of shattered trust. It is not hatred you face, but the cold, indifferent face of someone who once held your hope in their hands. Betrayal is the perverse work of those who know your strengths, who have tasted your fears, who understood every line of the map you thought hidden. There is no deception more profound than that of one who wore the mantle of ally. Those who call themselves enemies cannot shatter you, they cannot reach what they do not touch. But a betrayer drags you from within, tearing apart the very sinews of your resolve. Friends always walk closer than foes, and thus, when they turn, it is not with the force of an outsider's strike, but with the precision of an assassin's hand. Consider this. If a wound is inflicted by an enemy, it will heal in time, closed by distance and guarded by caution. But the wound left by a friend festers. It seeps with the venom of disbelief, for it carries not just pain but confusion. A scar carved deeper with every moment spent in denial. Enemies sharpen you. They shape your defenses, hone your instincts, but betrayal, it dulls the blade, making it heavy in your grasp, burdened by the weight of what-ifs and shattered expectations. Those closest know where to cut, where the armor thins, where the heart beats most fervently. Betrayal is the art of destruction by those entrusted with the secrets of your soul. To be betrayed is to be unmade, not by brute force, but by a whisper that severs bonds you thought unbreakable. It is a reminder that even the strongest fortress is vulnerable, that even the mightiest warrior has his unguarded moments. The blade of a betrayer is guided not by rage, but by the memory of shared moments, of oaths once sworn. And so when it strikes, it cleaves deeper than any enemy's thrust. But betrayal is not the end, it is an awakening. The sting of betrayal burns away the illusions of friendship, the masks of camaraderie, leaving only clarity in its wake. It is a crucible, a forge where the flames are fed not by hatred but by treachery, and what emerges is no longer burdened by the naivety of trust, no longer bound by the chains of sentiment. What survives betrayal is something raw, something fierce, something stripped of any lingering hope for solace. The betrayed does not forgive nor forget. He becomes a weapon unto himself, one forged to never again be caught unaware. So let betrayal come. Let the friend's smile become a snarl, Let the hand that once lifted you high become the fist that drives you low. Each fracture, each broken bond is merely another scar that seals shut. Another promise that weakness will no longer be allowed to linger. For the one who survives the betrayal of a friend becomes more dangerous than any foe. For he has known the deepest cuts, endured the cruelest wounds. And when the dust settles, what remains is not vengeance, not rage, but the cold resolve of one who no longer has anything left to fear. Remember, it is not the enemy at the gates that destroys kingdoms. It is the trusted counselor whispering in the dark, the sibling who tightens the noose, the hand extended in false assurance before it pulls the ground from beneath. Enemies are challenges to be met. But a friend's betrayal, that is a lesson seared into the soul, that greatness can only be achieved when one is truly alone, when the weight of trust is cast aside and one rises without crutch, without ally, a force unbound and unbroken.